What's up, guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 2019 Porsche 911 GT3RS. Behind me is a 4.0-liter flat six, and down below is a 7-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this 911 GT3RS because it's the pinnacle. It's the car. I mean, it's just so visceral, so amazing, so beautiful that I will have plenty to touch on here today. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle to be reviewed by me, doesn't necessarily have to be a 911 GT3RS, but you can do so on my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form, takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that 4-liter flat six behind me, making 520 horsepower. Well, that is one of the crown jewels, one of the many crown jewels of the GT3RS. It is a completely naturally aspirated flat six, making 520 horsepower, which from an engineering standpoint is no small feat. It is wonderful to drive. It revs to 9,000 RPM, and there isn't much better. Take a listen. Oh my goodness, grape juice. That 9,000 RPM. Holy sh**. Oh, it just keeps going. Now, like I said, paired to it is a 7-speed dual-clutch PDK transmission from Porsche. I have never experienced a transmission shifting faster than this PDK. It is wonderful, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, and the downshifts are downright violent. But that's what you want, right? Now, last but not least, this GT3RS is rear-wheel drive, so you can have plenty of fun with that. So how does it feel to actually drive a GT3RS? Well, of course, it's incredibly quick. The handling is compared to nothing else I've ever driven. And yeah, it's a lot of friggin' fun. But driving it around normally, let me get it up into 6th gear. You know what? Let's do 7th. I'm driving normally. It's quiet, it's calm, it's collected, it's reserved, it's civil. It's not scary to drive, and I really thought it was going to be. It's not daunting. It's not dangerous. It's just so good. It's like having a conversation with a friend. And that to me is what really speaks volumes about the versatility of the GT3RS. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a bunch of gauges. First of all, of course, we get that center mounted tachometer. I love it. But off to the left, we have our oil temperature, oil pressure, speedometer that goes up to 225, and off to the right we do have a digital gauge as well as our water temperature and our fuel. This digital gauge is found in most Porsches. It's nothing really new for me. However, what is a really nice touch is that this is the GT3RS that gets a bunch of added on features, and Porsche actually added those little vents to the tire pressure screen. So this isn't just a regular 911, no. They actually made sure that you remember that you have added brake duct vents in the tire pressure system. The steering wheel is Alcantara and GT3 specific. It's very thin, it's very lightweight, and it's very enjoyable. Around the back of the steering wheel, you do get paddle shifters, again for that PDK, that is lightning quick. Blink and you'll miss it. Off to the left, I have a little climate control vent, headlight switches, and this is the ignition switch. Porsche is notorious for having the ignition off to the left. And moving on to the door, we do have a little strap to get in and out. There's no door handle. This is, again, to save weight for the performance version of the GT3, as well as we do have our power mirrors and power windows down below. Moving into the center, we have the iconic Porsche clock. All Porsches have a clock in the center, an analog clock, and I love that, but they're very good at matching the clock face to your gauges. So the center mounted tachometer has the same color needle and look as the clock in the car, and that changes with trim levels and designs and things like that. So I love that, again, little attention to detail. We also get this lizard green stitching on the dash to match the outside. Then we have 2 climate control vents and the infotainment system. The infotainment system is pretty decent. You can look at like consumption and things like that, but really you're not going to spend much time in here. It does have built-in navigation, and it does have a backup camera, which is really cool to see. So here's the backup camera of a 911 GT3RS 991.2, if you were ever so curious. Off to the right, we do have cup holders in the front dash. So for the first time probably in the world, we will big friggin' bottle test a Porsche 911 GT3RS. And unfortunately it fails. All the previous 911s I've ever tested have always failed. But it's just kind of funny that also the GT3RS does. It's a funny gimmick. Don't take it too seriously. Down below, we do have our tuner, map, car buttons. These are kind of plasticky, but what I expect out of Porsche from this era. I've driven plenty of cars that feel this way. And then we have our climate controls. We get dual zone climate, max AC, auto sync, anything you'd come to expect out of a modern luxury car, at least in terms of climate controls. Then we come to the shifter. Again, more lizard green accents, and this is for the PDK, a little bit of Alcantara on there, and you get the beautiful embossed logo down at the bottom that says GT3RS. So when you pay that price tag, you do get reminded quite frequently, and I like seeing that in cars. Then we do have our hazard switch and central locking. Then we have a bunch of interesting buttons. So off to the left, we have the PDK Sport. This is essentially a sport mode, but honestly, this car is always in sport mode. There's no dull, comfort, boring economy mode in the GT3RS, so this button's a little superfluous, but that's fine. Then we do have our suspension button, so we can stiffen the suspension if I would like. Then we have our ESC off and ESC plus traction control off. So that'll really put you to your own devices if you want to stuff it into a corner. And then off to the right, we have our exhaust valves, although this does have a SharkWorks muffler delete in it. And we have our front axle lifter. Because this does have a pretty low to the ground nose, you can lift up the axle to get a little bit of clearance when going into a driveway or over speed bumps. Then we do have a little 12-volt outlet, and this is actually a built-in radar detector. So this is an aftermarket bit, those like little buttons you're seeing down there, but I think it's really, really neat. Then we do get a tiny, tiny center console, and then we'll talk about the seats. The seats are specific not only to the GT3RS, but I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm not German, not going to pronounce it, but that is an $18,000 package that this car has. It's a lot of the carbon fiber bits on the outside, but you also get these seats. Now, they are fixed seats. You can adjust the lumbar a tiny bit, and you can manually move it forward and backward, but that's it. You can't recline it at all. And at first I was like, well, this is going to be pretty annoying, but honestly it's not. Porsche seems to know exactly what I want, and they give it to me. And that's at least how these seats feel. Now, thank the baby Jesus that I don't have any back seats to cram myself into. There's a little bit of scaffolding back there in a roll cage type scenario, which was aftermarket. The owner put that in. But we do have a frunk to talk about. This is a Porsche 911 after all, so let's hop out and talk about that. All right, we're on. I can't even talk. This thing is just beautiful. We're playing. I'm trying to film a dream car. Can you leave me alone? Let the plane pass. Button on the key fob pops the front trunk, and per the weight savings, this is actually a sticker. Save some weight. This is a real carbon fiber hood. Pull the latch there. It is incredibly light, and under the hood, we get some storage, not a whole lot, but look, it's a Porsche 911 GT3RS. I mean, what do you want from me? I'm not getting inside there. I know what you guys are thinking. I'm not getting in there, but I mean, the real carbon fiber, beautiful. And these are active air inlets. You could see on the hood, there is an air inlet there, and it actually goes down here and is channeled down to these carbon ceramic brakes to help cool them off. Love that. These vents also pull stuck air out so the front end doesn't lift up. I'm getting ahead of myself. Here's the cargo space. Now we got to talk about the looks, and of course the first thing you'll notice is that the 911 GT3RS, this particular one, is finished in lizard green, which is a beautiful color and I love it. But what I really love specifically is all the little details that Porsche added in that lizard green. You get that striping on the outside of the wheel, you get the RS badge in the center of the wheel in lizard green, you get the stitching on the inside, the seat belts are lizard green, the seat inserts are lizard green. I just checked my boxers and there's some lizard green in there. So I love it so much. And it's just such a flamboyant, iconic color. However, with all of this being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving a 2019 991.2 Porsche 911 GT3 RS? Well, it's nothing short of extraordinary, wonderful, and delightful. And I fear that I'll sound like a broken record or come off as boring throughout this review because I can't figure out what else to say. But it's just the doggone truth. It's comfortable enough around town for what it is. Is this going to ride like your brother, uncle's, cousin's Rolls Royce? No, it's not going to float over bumps. It's going to take bumps rather personally. But in a sports car, a handling vehicle, that's exactly what I want. I want to feel the road. I want to know what the car is doing while I'm doing it. And that's exactly the feedback that you get in the GT3RS. But my spine isn't broken. I'm not calling my chiropractor after this video. No, I'm calling my friends to cry on the phone that I drove a GT3RS. And so with all of that out of the way, there are no downsides to the GT3RS besides that price tag, which this car will have you looking up what a human kidney goes for just to try to afford this. I think this car is worth a kidney, maybe a kidney and a half. My kidneys get stones anyway, so they're no use to me. I would gladly give one up to have one of these in my garage. But now, as we get towards the end of the video, there's only one more thing to do. And that would be to dent, ding, or scratch this 911 GT3RS. Now follow me here, hold on, I do have a reason for this. In a lot of ancient religious cultures, when something was built perfectly, it was considered to mock the gods because only God or only the gods could make something perfect. Humans aren't capable of that, at least in a lot of readings. And so in ancient times when they would build a monolith or something that was so beautiful and so perfect, they would end up scratching it or hurting it in some type of way to then make it imperfect and then no longer mock the gods. This car it's perfect, and it's almost a spit in God's face. And so don't worry, I won't be hurting the GT3RS today. That's how I feel. It's too perfect. It's the best. And it really makes you wonder how Porsche was able to pack so much greatness into an automobile without divine intervention. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. An incredibly enormous thank you to Nick for letting me take out his Porsche 911 GT3 RS. This is a childhood dream come true. And I say that for a handful of vehicles, but actually the week before I filmed this video, my dad found an old VHS tape of me reviewing Porsches in my front living room with Lego men. I'm not kidding. This video you're seeing now is from probably 2005, 2006.
And it's a race car because you could see it's number 44.
And so this genuinely is a boyhood dream come true. So huge, incredible thank you to Nick for making this possible. And of course, I do have to give a shout out to Sean for introducing me to Nick. Thank you, Sean. This has been, well, everything I hoped of and just a touch more. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it, but you can't like me more than you like the GT3RS. That's insane. Take care, guys.